Collected a whole bunch of different sizes of these DAIWA and Meiho fishing lure cases made in Japan for storage of certain things, especially things that have sharp edges that you're trying to protect. This one is a generic made in China version. I'm going to show you a comparison between this and the other ones, and I'm going to show you how these stack up inside the Japanese toolboxes that are just off camera that I showed in my last video. And I'm also going to show how these fit into Makita MakTrak and Milwaukee Packout. So these two boxes are made in China and this box is made in Japan. This one is branded DAIWA. You can also find these in the USA at Meiho Tackle Box USA. The Meiho branded ones are also made in Japan. I bought this DAIWA branded lure case off of Amazon Japan, and the shipping isn't too bad on these. When I first saw these, I thought, boy, these have come out of the same factory, out of the same mold. But as I looked more carefully, I started to notice some differences. The made in China one has this recess here, but the funny thing about it is that it doesn't stack. So it really just takes up space. The made in Japan cases don't have that. They're flat. They just stack flat. So right now this stack is about 1 millimeter higher than this stack. It's not very easy to show that on camera, but this stack ends up slightly thicker. This void right here comes a little bit farther up the corner than it does here. So these are not out of the same mold. They're not out of the same factory. Everything else on these is nearly identical. Before I show you what I found that fits in these, let me explain the different sizes. Because in typical Japanese fashion, this is a big product line with a lot of different variations of similar items. This RC165 is one of the largest, but it's not the largest. On the MeihoTackleBox.com website, I did find a 250, and it has the dividers oriented this way. The dimensions of the 250 are slightly bigger than this 165. It is made in Japan. And I got a couple of these RC140s. I found this 140 size to be very versatile. This is DAIWA branded. These are made in Japan. All right, so the MeihoTackleBox.com website is showing two sizes in between the 140 and the 165. Then I bought 4 of these RC120s. These are a real sweet spot right here. There's a lot of things that I found that fit nicely into the 120s. So stepping down from the 120, it goes to the RC100. The RC100 is actually the same physical external size as the 120. The width is taken up by moving the latch to the side, whereas the RC120 has the latch on the end. And if you didn't realize it, these are double-sided, so they got lids on both sides. So then it goes down to the RC86. These have lids on both sides. These don't have that nice latch. These are just kind of the plastic clip style. These are also made in Japan. All right, so then when we get to this 86 size, you can see the RC86 branded DAIWA. This is a thicker box, double-sided. The L86 is basically a longer version. It's got these nicer latches on the side. Then the F86, I think this is flat. So this is a really flat version of the 86. So these are slit foam cases. These are very flat. This one branded Meiho. So this one is not slit foam. This one has all these little dividers, and these dividers are very good quality. I'm really impressed with the quality of the plastics, the fit, the finish. It's all very good stuff. I've done videos in the past of how much I like these empty Vera cases, but you can't fit really long bits in these. I can put longer bits and the bit accessories in this case, So I really like this. So the foam cases I struggled with. So what I came up with was a modification of these. So these come with just this flat foam in it. And then what I figured out is that I could cut the foam and I could peel it out. It's sticky backed foam, and you just peel it out and then you can fit items in there like this. And it's pretty secure. I used a piece of the sticky foam here to make a little bit of a wall between these two items, and it works out really well. So this one had the clear top and the slit foam on one side. This one had slit foam on both sides. So these are made in Japan and they're branded DAIWA or Meiho. These follow a form factor that fits together but only in pairs. So you can clip them together like this in pairs. And one of the things that I struggled with the Star M bamboo bit roll-up holder is that I just don't trust it to have these very sharp bits not touch each other and not bang into each other. Yes, it probably works okay. I don't particularly like handling the very sharp ends of these. So I've kind of given up on the Star M drill roll bag. This is double-sided, so we fit 6 bamboo bits here, flip it over, and we've got room for 6 more. So this F86 is going to fit 12 small diameter bamboo bits. The L86 is still 6 on each side, but you can actually fit 1 more here. It's not very easy to get out of there, and again, I'm handling the sharp edge, which I don't want to do. But the L86, because it's deeper, so here's a 12 millimeter diameter, and I really like the way these bamboo bits fit in here. I know that they're not going to get damaged in here. The clasp is reliable. I really like this one. The DAIWA RC86 is the same depth as the Meiho L86. Doesn't have the nice latch on it like the Meiho L86 does. And this is what I've found fits really nicely in here. A cone bit, a small hole saw, these Star M countersinks. It's just perfect in here. And then on the other side, I've got all these Star M bits. They're protected. I don't have to worry about these getting damaged. So I'm loving that. This is what I've got in the RC100. The Annex insulated bits fit in here, bit adapters. This Annex 100 extension fits in here perfectly. These little wrenches, because these go down to a V, perfect for this kind of thing. Little socket wrenches. Those fit in there perfectly. I really like the clasp on this. This stuff gets kind of difficult to figure out where to store it and not get damaged. All that fits in there so nicely. Stepping up to a size that's a little bit bigger, the RC120. I can fit these larger diameter plug cutters in here by Star M. Clasp it. These don't move around, they don't bump into each other. So this bit that I have right here in this small slot actually goes with this Star M product. And I've got some other Star M bits there. Don't have anything on that side yet. This RC120, finally find a place for all these bit joints. So, and then I found out this little Tamiya branded Annex bit holder handle fit in here. And I just put this Weeha bit holder on there just to see what fits in there. And then these pre-drills are just perfect in here. They're not going to get damaged. This wobble connector fits in there, a hook bit, and then I've got some Star M bits. And this Star M bit is the 18 millimeter. As soon as you go to the 20 millimeter, the bit gets larger in diameter, but it also gets longer. So this was the largest one of this style of star M bit that would fit in the RC120. And then this little end here fits a bit. The RC120 is perfect for these socket products, showing different ideas of things that'll fit in the RC120. All these adapters, 3/8 and half wobble adapters by Annex in here. 2 more 3/8 adapters. We've got more adapters here. We've got a wrap adapter here. The Fix-It Sticks torque adapter fits perfectly in the RC120. The Vera 4mm micro bit driver handle fits in here perfectly. Mini ratchets. So these two right here will not fit in the RC100. The rest of these will fit in the RC100, but they fit really nice in the RC120. And then on the other side, I've got all the bits sorted out in here. All right, so what's in the RC140? I can fit one of these Star M drill holders. So the Hotset bit holder with a wrap adapter fits in there. This is the 813 size. That fits in the RC140. This engineer bit holder just barely fits in there. It's pushing up on the lid just a tiny amount. So this is about the maximum in the RC140. This HVAC wrench fits perfectly in there. And then the RC140 lets me finish off all the rest of the sizes of the bamboo bits. The RC140 lets me get all the way up to the 21mm, which is the largest bamboo bit, I believe. So if you're just looking for a way to store the Star M bamboo bits, one RC140, one RC120, and then get an 86. Okay, I forgot to show the other side of this one. And this fits in there because of the way the contour is in this. This is a 10mm deep well socket. This is an 8, 10, 13 multi-socket. Then I've got a 9/16. The 5/8 will not fit in here. It pushes the lid up. So 9/16, half, 7/16, and 3/8. Those are how the Vera sockets fit in there. The 15mm gets to be a little too big, so 14, 13, 12, 11, and 10. And then this is the RC165. We can fit the Milwaukee bit ratchet in there with the bits that come with it. That fits in there. Got to get the handle down into that groove like that. These Annex insulated bits fit in here. This size of Vera handle fits in here. Here's the 838 RA. That fits in here. So the Vessel 1.5, the length of it fits in there. 910 HD. Odd shaped items like this fit in there. That's awesome. And I've got a couple of hobby items here for cutting out decals and putting on water decals. This carabiner with a bit carrier and a bit in it, that all fits in here, no problem. So then we've got the Star M tri-cutter. This is the 27. This is a 26mm Star M bit. This is just slightly oversized. It just barely pushes up on the lid. Here's a 19mm lobster socket. The 26mm pushes up on the lid just a little bit, so that tells you what the maximum is in the RC165. So I think that gives you a lot of ideas for all the things that fit. I really like the fact that these organization methods protect sharp items and they're not going to get banged around and bumped into each other. This is the Squid Stalker by DAIWA, and this item comes with some little plastic dividers that go into these slits. So this was just one idea I came up with to figure out a way to use this really neat flat case that's got a nice latch on it. This is also made in Japan. This one is the same external form factor as the RC140, but it's not as deep. It's thinner than the 140. Now that I've shown you these lure cases, let's look at how these lure cases stack up in different ways. Okay, this is the DAIWA tackle box that I reviewed in a previous video. So this is kind of a part 2 of another video. This has a double lid. This is what I've got in the top lid. I'll explain these things probably last in the video, just to show that those things fit in the top part of the lid. This double lid style tackle box opens up. The handle becomes a foot. And then you get kind of a flat work surface here. It comes with these 2 dividers, and I'll show you why I chose these positions. It doesn't look like it's all perfectly packed in there because you've got these bump outs here and then there's a slight taper at the bottom. So these are the 140s. Those fit right there. So even with this one that's not as thick, I still can't move this divider over. So then the RC120s, those all fit over here. And then all these variations of this 86 size fit in the center. Now this one I could put this here. Nothing is pushing up on the lid. The lid closes, no problem. This tackle box is the same size. This one was also reviewed in my previous video. It has the same double lid that opens up and the handle makes a stand, and then you've got a fork surface. This tackle box comes with 2 of these dividers. I'm just using one, mainly because I want to show you how the RC165 fits into this. So this is the RC100, but it's the same size as the 120. So you can fit 3 120s, the 165, and then you can put a bunch of these in here this way. They do push against this a little bit. It's not a perfect fit, but it does work. You can get these size 86 in there. You can stack them, okay? And then just to show you, the lid still closes, no problem. It latches. This is a 165, this is a 100, these are 120s, and these 2 are 140s. And then I've got room for this flat style squid packer that matches the 140 size. In the previous video, we put these lure cases here, and I can leave this divider where I showed it in the previous video. What fits in the top? So these are the split foam. This is the L86. So can we do 2 of those? That's 22. So you should be able to stack 2 of these F86 on top of each other in this top compartment. You cannot fit a 120 in here. All right, what about Makita MakTrak? Let's take a look. This is the Makita MakTrak Deep Compact Organizer. Bottom of the MakTrak is not flat, so stuff fits in there funny. So this is the RC100, which is the same external form factor as the RC120. That fits. Let's just double check the RC120. Yes, that fits. There's a rise right there. So then it doesn't fit. So it's got to be down there. So you got to be off that ledge, then it fits and it closes. So this part here poses a problem. I can put this edge up on that, then the lid closes. So you can get that to work like that. Okay, you can stack 3 of the RC120s in the middle. That would be a lot of stuff. So you'd have 3 RC120s stacked down the middle, 2 more RC120s, and then 2 RC100s. That would fill this Makita MakTrak. All right, so what about the 140 size? That doesn't really fit in there very well. So 2 of those plus this flat one, that fits in there. Here's the center line, so you could do that twice. This is the L86. That's a little tight in there. It fits, but I don't like the way that it fits in there. It's pretty tight. It probably would be okay, but what about the Milwaukee Packout? Let's check this. I don't like the way that fits. It pushes against the sides. Definitely can't stack 2 of these on top of each other. There's no way that lid is going to close. Let's see here. That won't close. So this... Okay, what about that? It's got to be the L86. And yeah, that's... I do a 140. Nope. Here's a 120. Here's another 120. Pushing down on that just a little bit, but that's... So that's a 165 with 2 120s. So the RC120 only fits up here in the top. As I push the 120 down, it pushes out on the sides. So the 120 can only be in here, like up here like this. Probably could cut this off. So that gives you an idea what fits in the Packout. So now I just have a few items left to show you. Waterproofing. None of those boxes that I showed you are waterproof. Closest thing to waterproof is this one, but there's no O-ring. They've all got these drainage holes, so water goes in, water goes out. This one doesn't have any O-ring. It doesn't have any drainage holes, but it's not waterproof either. So these are the only ones here that I believe are waterproof. They've got O-rings, they've got good little hinges on them. There's an option to put a magnet in the base of this. Small nuts and bolts, so if you're working with RC hobbies and you need to keep some wheel lug nuts or things like that, you could use one of these. So this green one is a thinner version. This doesn't have the O-rings or the seals on it, but it's a pretty good little door. These are both made in Japan. These are both branded DAIWA. I don't believe that these fit together in any way. They don't stack in any way. Okay, this is a DAIWA live bait box. So this blue piece can come out. You can flip this over. So this box does not have drainage holes, but it's not really waterproof either. This kind of looks like a vent, but it's not. It's closed off. This one here I didn't even open. This one is made in Japan. It's the same as this one, and I struggled with trying to find things to use this for. What I found out was SD cards fit perfectly in this slot. You could probably stack 5 or 6 of these in here. Some of these USB drives fit in here. Most of my USB drives do not fit in here. These are just wireless USB dongles for wireless mice and keyboards. Okay, that's just showing the size of the compartment with a micro SD card. And then here's the SIM tray ejection tool. I don't know what the electrostatic discharge rating is on this. I don't know if it dissipates static or collects static. You know, if you put this in a cloth pocket, is it going to generate static electricity and ruin these items? I don't know. So I don't intend on using this for these electronic items because I don't know if it's static safe. I'm just showing the size. It was the only thing I could think of to try to figure out what alternative uses this could possibly be used for. I don't know if those are good ideas or not. And I also wanted to point out that DAIWA sells all this interesting gear holding stuff. This stuff tends to be made in China, not in Japan. This is branded DAIWA. This one is a magnet catch. It's got a pretty strong magnet. You definitely don't want to get your finger in there. Yeah, 3 kilograms. I was just intrigued by these. I don't necessarily have any clever ideas for applications for those things yet. These items here were some odds and ends that I was just kind of exploring. Just an FYI, I guess. Okay, I hope you found that interesting. If you like that, feed the algorithm for me. You know how YouTube works. Stay tuned, and thank you for watching.